Welcome back to GBGuns Armory, the series that's more about reflections than it is review. This was one of my all-time favorite rifles. Still love it. My question today, the topic today, obviously, is the AK. Do you still, or did you ever? You see, as I see it, in the 15 years or so that I've been involved in guns and stuff in the US, the AK, when I started, was for the poors. It was the laughable, it's not accurate, they're dirt cheap, the ammo's dirt cheap. It's what rednecks and poor people get to have fun with. I admired the thing, loved the system, loved the caliber, and I could afford to get into it because, well, guess what? I didn't have a lot of money. So that's why I got into them. And we've seen that change over to AKs being incredibly expensive. This is a Wasser 10, a Romanian rifle that I bought used for like $300 in 2012 maybe. I of course painted it. Put some Mako furniture on it that really chopped the light out. And this old Tapco slot brake that in a muzzle test series that I did way back in the beginnings of the channel, I think I went through like 20 different muzzle brakes. This thing was by far the most effective, and it was like $9. It was great. And the ammo used to be really cheap. This furniture really sheds some weight and has plenty of venti holes so it doesn't get too hot. Really turned into a great build. This rifle I abused and shot the snot out of, and it still works, which is very AK. But we've seen AKs go from something for the poors to exclusive, almost kind of snooty attitudes as the prices have gone up. And there's a lot of reasons for the prices having gone up, not just embargoes and things like that, but the difference between something that was built in a state-run factory with state-paid employees on state-paid-for machines to commercial stuff that all had to be created. Then there's also the wage difference, the changes in currencies, all that kind of stuff, because unlike an AR, which is effectively assembled, AKs are built, and they do require some craftsmanship. There are rivets that have to be pressed. The barrel has to be pressed into the trunnion into the receiver, and all of this has to be done with a finesse and a sense for what's going on with the metal so that it's not overdone or underdone, as we've seen in some bad rifles. I say that in contrast to the AR, which is basically, I mean, you technically don't even need a torque wrench for an AR. Ask me how I know. But the AKs have become expensive, and I gotta say the AK community toxicity is almost as bad in some ways and worse in others than the AR community, as far as people that want to be brand snobs and bash each other over what part they chose and what brand they have, all that kind of stuff. It's kind of wild. The biggest factor that we've had to deal with is the recent ammo embargoes, which have made ammo prices skyrocket. Now, I suspect, it being a free market, that we'll see commercial companies respond to that, maybe not in the US, but from overseas. But here's the catch on that. Let's say a new ammo factory or an existing factory decides to crank out more 7.6239 to take advantage of the shortage in the US market. Are they really going to sell paltry amounts to US consumers, or are they going to sell train loads to Russia or Ukraine? So I think that's probably what's happening with ammo, and not just 7.6239, 5.45x39, really any caliber. Now there's NATO calibers being used on the Ukrainian side. We're going to see a pinch there. But where has this left the AK to you? For me, it's taken it from a fun time gun to a gun I take out on a special occasion. It still serves its purpose, absolutely. Darn rugged, incredibly reliable, and as far as the accuracy talk, people say, oh, AKs are maybe the 2 to 3 MOA. Well, guess what? That's also the military standard for an M16. And there's a reason for that. One, producing anything more accurate, it's a lot more expensive to do and time consuming. And two, Anything more accurate than that is really not useful. Reason being, the cartridges lose their lethality around 300 yards or so. So if we've got a 3 MOA accuracy and 300 yards that we can really do something lethal, 9-inch target. That still fits a human head, especially if it's got a helmet on. A 9-inch target is plenty, and you've got to be able to see that target and engage that target. So really, and then come down to civilian use. If you're talking civilian defense use, can you defend yourself in court for making a 300-yard shot or even a 100-yard shot? I'm sure there are certain special circumstances where you can, but for most of us, anything past 20 yards is going to be challenged in court. So who cares if it's 3 MOA or 5 MOA? Sure, that takes the fun out of shooting groups, but running AKs has never been about shooting groups anyways. Bringing it all back around, I'm curious, for those of you that did AK, do you still AK? And for those of you that didn't, how do you feel about it now? Is it definitely a stay away thing? I'm curious. I got into them. I love them. I own a lot of them. I reviewed many AKs. Not so much on YouTube, but in articles and things. Had the delight of taking one of the Center T courses with the Spetsnaz instructors. Awesome opportunity. Got to learn the real Russian AK way. I've also run the AK course at Thunder Ranch, which was incredible opportunity as well. And I 3-gunned with, not this one, an AK-74 for a couple years. Why? Because that's what I had. Those are my questions. Those are my thoughts. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.